Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name's Rachel and I am knitting. Not right now, but most of the time. Before I start today's video, I want to take a minute and tell you that I'm a firm believer that people shouldn't apologize for being absent on social media. We've all seen the Instagram posts that say, "Sorry, I've been MIA. I've been gone for a while. So sorry I haven't posted as often." You do not have to apologize. Your time is your own. Spend it how you want to spend it. There is no obligation to be on social media all the time. Sometimes you'll have seasons where you're really active on it. Sometimes you'll have seasons where you won't. That's okay, and there's no need to apologize. With that said, I'm so sorry I haven't made a YouTube video in a while. Okay? I know it's paradoxical. I contain multitudes. There's room for duality here. All right, so it has been a minute since I have published a YouTube video, and by a minute, I mean a couple weeks. I don't know. The reason for this is because I have been gone on the Irish knitting tour, and then when I got home, I got sick. So it was just bad timing. So now I'm feeling well again. I'm back to my normal self, and I'm ready to recap the Irish knitting tour with you. If you follow me on Instagram, you may already be familiar with a lot of the things we did on the Irish knitting tour. Places we went, sites we saw, knitting workshops we had, and maybe even souvenirs we bought. So you might already have that baseline. If you don't, this video is the comprehensive view. So basically what I'm going to be doing in this video today is a chronological recap of the Irish knitting tour. So I hope that you can feel that you were able to participate in some way. I know that there were so many people who wanted to go that just couldn't make it work this year. Totally understandable and justifiable. But I'm hoping that this video will help, I don't know, scratch that itch you may feel, the travel bug or the Irish bug, whatever. So anyway, yes. I'm going to go through the trip chronologically and share all those good stuff, or all that good stuff with you. And I hope you enjoy. So let's get into it. The tour officially started on Monday, October 9th, but many of us arrived in Dublin prior to the official tour start date. The reason for that is probably going to vary depending on who you ask, but some of the pros of arriving a few days early is that, if there's any travel hiccups, you're guaranteed to be there on time. So you cushion any potential travel delays. You give yourself a little bit of time to acclimate to the new time zone if you're not already in the time zone Ireland is in, etc., etc. And also seeing the sights in Dublin or around Ireland if you want time to see something that's not included on the tour. So the tour starts Monday, October 9th. My husband DJ and I arrived Saturday, October 7th in the morning. I'd say we had a pretty smooth travel experience from our home airport to the Dublin airport. We had 2 flights, one domestic and then the long international flight to get to Dublin, and it was pretty smooth sailing. We both wore compression socks that were gifted to us from Comrad Socks. This was my first time wearing compression socks, and they were absolutely wonderful. My ankles become pillars when I travel, and that didn't happen. So I was really pleasantly surprised. I didn't know how well compression socks would work for me. Kind of seems like a conspiracy theory, kind of seems like a scam, like you squeeze your legs and they work better. I don't know. Didn't really make sense to me, but I'm a believer now. Check out Comrad Socks if you're in the market for compression socks. They also generously gifted DJ some pairs, because, I asked, because why not? Shoot your shot. So they gifted me some pairs, DJ some pairs, and we both really enjoyed them and we're grateful to have them. Also on the flight there, I slept a lot. I was kind of sad about this though, because I really love international flights. I feel like, the world is turned off. It's quiet. You have room to think. No one can reach you. No one can bother you. No one can bring a problem to you. You're just there to watch your movies, to drink soda and take naps. Okay. So it's like the ideal experience for me, but I knew that I didn't want to stay awake the whole time because I wanted to combat jet lag as much as possible. I'm no expert on this, but I figured, our international flight was leaving at 7 p.m. and arriving in Dublin at 10 a.m. Dublin time. So we were leaving at 7 p.m. Central Time, landing 10 p.m., whatever Irish time is, the Irish time zone. So I knew that I wanted to sleep on the plane and try and trick my body to think that I had just slept through the night. So I was kind of sad because I love long flights. I love watching like 4 movies and like knitting the whole time, taking a nap in between. Like, I don't know, it just is so fun to me. I think it's so fun. So I was sad that I would have to sleep, but I did sleep. And I also did watch a few movies. I watched I Know What You Did Last Summer, and then I slept for like 5 hours. And I watched another movie. I don't remember what it was. And then when we landed in the Dublin airport in the morning, Dublin time, I also took a 5-hour energy. And I think that really helped. I don't know what the secret ingredient was for that combination of me sleeping on the plane, having that energy boost when we landed, but I don't feel like I was too terribly jet lagged. Like I was tired, but I wasn't like a zombie thinking it was bedtime when it was really lunchtime or something like that. So after leaving the airport and getting settled into our hotel, we had the day to explore London. So I went with my mom and aunt to Powers Court Square, I think it's called. It's the building where This Is Knit lives, and I met Leslie of Knit California for the first time. And when I tell you that this was a magical moment, you have to believe me. It was so magical. When you have an internet bestie, like your life is constant second guessing. It's just like, do they really like me? Is this really them? Like, are we actually friends, or is this just, I don't know. I don't know why we second guess ourselves this way. But Leslie and I have been internet besties for like 2 years, and we finally met in person in Dublin in front of a local yarn store. How perfect is that? So we then went to explore This Is Knit a little bit, and then we had dinner at this really cute pub restaurant called The Ginger Man in Dublin. I had a Guinness beef pie with chips and a Guinness for my first meal in Ireland, and it was perfection. After dinner at the Ginger Man, we went to a pub crawl that started at the Duke pub in Dublin and went to a few different pubs around Dublin city center. We listened to 2 actors recite readings from Irish literature throughout the tour, and it was a cool experience. I was a little bit too tired and didn't stick out the whole thing, so a few of us went back to the hotel before the pub crawl was over. It was like 3 hours of walking around Dublin, and it was hot and muggy, and I think, a little jet lagged, so it was the best decision to just kind of quietly slip away. Oh, I will say that while we were at the pub crawl, one of the stops was a pub right next to the Molly Malone statue, and if you don't know, Molly Malone's statue, people touch it, and a lot of them touch her breasts. And you can tell this because her breasts are shiny. You know those pictures you see of dog statues where their noses are like rubbed gold and they're like a bronze statue or brass statue? Whatever, one of the two. You can fact check me in the comments. But the part that people touch the most is like the tarnish is removed basically, and it's just polished gold looking. So anyway, her breasts look shiny and new and gold. And while we were there, a man came up and was singing the Honey Honey song from ABBA, I think, and he dumped a whole jar of honey on her breasts. And then we tried to warn people to stop touching it as like new people came to the statue and wanted their photo op touching Molly Malone's breasts. One woman didn't register what we were saying in time and touched it and had a very shocked look on her face. And then we said, don't worry, it's honey, it's honey. And she said, okay, fine. But so yes, that was a good wake-up call for me that I should wash my hands more after existing in public, because I really have no idea what people are doing on public surfaces. Okay, so honey is like a pretty tame example, but anyway, here's your reminder to wash your hands. All right, so that thus ends Saturday. We ended with a pub crawl and honey all over Molly Malone's breasts. Thrilling day. Then we get to Sunday. The only thing planned on Sunday is a welcome reception, which my mom and I, as tour organizers, had planned as an informal gathering for everybody to meet each other, since we all would have arrived at that point, share a little bit about ourselves, and for us to distribute goodie bags, which I'll get to in a minute. So Sunday, we basically had the day to do whatever we wanted, leading up to the welcome reception, and many of us decided that we wanted to go shopping, window shopping or real shopping, and then I knew I wanted to go to the National Gallery of Ireland before going back to the hotel. So a bunch of us walked into the city center and we stopped at a store that I think is called Kilkenny Design. This is a store that I saw a fuchsia casserole dish in the night before when we were walking to the pub crawl, and of course you know I love fuchsia, so had to investigate. So on Sunday, I went to the table with all the fuchsia pottery, and I learned that this is fuchsia, or this is pottery by a ceramicist artist named Nicholas Moss. He has lots of different design lines. Lines meaning like he has a fuchsia line, he has a clematis line, he has a wildflower line, things like that. And there were several fuchsia items at the table, and I ended up choosing this adorable fuchsia sugar bowl. I plan to use this for trinkets, maybe stitch markers, maybe scissors, maybe tape measure, and have this like next to my knitting chair for me to have all my notions that I need. But this was my first souvenir that I purchased, this adorable sugar bowl with fuchsia on it. And I've since made the decision that every time I go to Ireland, I'm going to get a Nicholas Moss fuchsia item. So other things that I would like at some point: oven dishes, plates, salad bowls, teapots, mugs. Okay, I need a whole line of Nicholas Moss fuchsia pottery. But I'm so excited about this first item in my collection. It is the cutest little, I mean, it's a sugar bowl, technically, but it's going to be my little notions bowl next to my knitting chair, and it's just perfect. So after I got my little sugar bowl, we continued walking around Dublin. We went into some sweater stores. I took the opportunity to feel the Kerry Woolen Mills yarn that I noticed was stocked in one of the sweater shops, because I knew that we were going to Kerry Woolen Mills later in the trip, but I wasn't sure how soft the yarn was, because I've read some scary reviews on Ravelry relating to the texture of the yarn. So I wanted to feel it before we left Dublin, because if it was too scratchy and I learned I didn't want to invest in it when we visited Kerry Woolen Mills, then I would get a different sweater quantity from This Is Knit. But when I felt the yarn at the sweater shop, I realized this is just fine. I have no problem with it. So I knew that I could hold off and get some at Kerry Woolen Mills. After we did some shopping and looking at some other things, we went to the National Gallery. Absolutely beautiful space. It's really fun to just walk through an art museum, I think. And we didn't spend a lot of time there because it was kind of a hot and muggy day in Dublin. And when I'm in heat, but that's not what I mean. When I'm in a hot environment, my energy just tanks. So it just wasn't sustainable to stay there. And so we went back to the hotel. I went to my mom and dad's room, and we made our goodie bags that we would give out later that evening. So I'll just show you what was in these goodie bags. This one is mine. We had a skein of yarn for everyone. This was generously donated from Jimmy Bean's Yarn. This is their Yarn Citizen fingering weight base, and this is the charcoal colorway. I have a few other skeins up there as well. So Jimmy Bean's was really generous to donate skeins of yarn. Originally, I messaged Jimmy Beans and I asked them if they would like to donate these. These are Yarn Babe pins. If you look closely, you can see on this enamel pin, this lovely knitter is wearing a scarf and it says Yarn Babe, and she has hair that looks kind of like a yarn ball and knitting needles holding her bun up. And this is a redhead, so I'm happy that she was in my goodie bag. And Jimmy Beans doesn't just have redhead enamel pins. They also have blonde versions of this pin, white-haired versions, brunette versions, versions with brown skin, so everyone can be represented. They sent me a variety and we dispersed them to the goodie bags. So we've got Skein of Yarn, we've got Yarn Babe pin, and also in the goodie bags we had 2 fuchsia flower stitch markers. Let me take this off. I just put them on the skeins so they wouldn't get lost in the bottom of the bag. But these are custom ordered by me from Twin Mountain Fiber Crafts. They do wholesale designs for stitch markers and other notions. This fuchsia flower was drawn by Kat Strickland of Cesium Yarn for the cabin collection. And part of our cabin collection agreement is that I'm able to purchase this design from Twin Mountain and distribute them. So I took advantage of that opportunity to include these in goodie bags. Fuchsia flower, for better or worse, seems to be part of my personal brand now. I think I'm just going to lean into it. But I was so excited to share my love of fuchsia with the tour participants and have these in the goodie bags. So far, everybody has a skein of yarn, a Yarn Babe pin, 2 stitch markers. The next item in the goodie bag is this gleaner. So many of you will already be familiar, but if you're not, a gleaner is essentially a lint shaver or a fabric shaver. Gleaner is a Canadian company, woman-owned, and this is my favorite fabric shaver that I've used. I don't trust the battery-powered ones because I don't feel like I can control it as much, but these are really great. And basically, I'll make a separate video showing you more about these, but there are 3 different attachments or fabric shaver blades, heads, however you want to call it, depending on the fiber and the delicacy of your item. I like to use this one, and I'll just demonstrate quickly for you. It's kind of hard when you're wearing it, but you just kind of use it to shave your garment to get your pills and your lint off. So you can see just with a few swipes, it got some of those pills off my sleeve. This end is like, what do they call them? A lint roller. So like if you have pet hair or something on your sweater or couch or whatever, you can use that. So the story behind that, Gleaner has this product that is their standard size fabric shaver, but they also have a smaller product that's like their on the go option. And I messaged them and I asked if they'd be willing to donate their on the go option for our tour participants who are knitters. And they said, yep, that works. We'll send you enough and we'll send you extra to give to people in Ireland. And I was like, okay, I'll take however much I can fit. And then they said to me, let's just ship it to your first hotel. So I'm really blown away by Gleaner's forethought, generosity, and kindness with this partnership. Not only did they donate 25 full-size products, I asked for the travel product, which is less expensive, and I thought, I don't know, less of a burden for a company to donate. No, they chose to donate full-size item and ship it directly to Ireland. So I didn't have to worry about packing it in my suitcase or anything, which was a huge lifesaver. I would not have had room for all of these if they had sent it to me and I was responsible for transporting it from my home to Dublin. So that was really amazing. Everyone had one of these in their goodie bags, and I'm just really grateful for Gleaner donating them, because not only is that super nice, but it's an incredible product, and I know that the tour participants will use these like for the rest of their lives, because, or at least that's what I would do, because it's amazing. So we have skein of yarn, Yarn Babe pin, 2 stitch markers, a Gleaner, and we have a custom row counter from Twice Sheared Sheep. Did you think that I would leave Twice Sheared Sheep out of this trip? Absolutely not. So we have these row counters from Twice Sheared Sheep. These were not donated. My mom and I purchased these wholesale from Dawn of Twice Sheared Sheep. She's the owner. Size medium, so it fits up to a US 8 needle, and these are so handy to have. If you don't use a row counter yet, I'll pop my video up where I go through how I use it. It's a game changer and a must-have notion if you ask me. All right, last but not least in our goodie bags is another donated treat. This is from Thread and Maple. If you're not familiar with Thread and Maple, they make really beautiful leather and wood notions or knitting / crochet supplies. So think needle organizers, think tape measures, think things like that. They generously donated this beautiful Thread and Maple tape measure. This is just absolutely a gorgeous item. And my one concern about this is that there's no way for the measure to stay out when you use it. So when you use it, you want to just keep that in mind if you're thinking of purchasing this. But it has their cute little maple leaf logo. It's just like sturdy and solid and sweet. They also included a card with a 10% off coupon for my tour participants, which I was really blown away by. And then also these two little maple leaf candies. Now, when I first opened these, when I got them in my P.O. box, I thought that they were needle stoppers, but then I couldn't find a hole in them. So they're candy. Okay, you can eat them. But they had tiny little cute little bags, branded Thread and Maple bags. You could use this as a notion bag, tiny little project bag. So thank you, Thread and Maple, for donating those tape measures. The tour participants, I hope, loved their goodie bags. They told me they did, and I don't think they're liars, but I'm really grateful that these goodie bags worked out. It was fun to give little treats to everybody before we started the tour. Some people were so excited about that yarn, they wound it up on the trip. My Aunt Becky has already finished a hat with it. So, oh, I should tell you, this yarn is, I think, an upcoming yarn from Jimmy Beans, if it's not already released. But it's 50% wool, 50% alpaca. It's really, really soft. It comes in several other colors. So keep an eye out for Yarn Citizen, and you won't be sorry. All right, so we haven't even gotten through the first, we haven't even started the tour, and all this has happened. Wow. We're finally at the night before welcome reception. We all have a drink voucher from the hotel bar. We're sitting in the hotel lobby. We go around in a circle. I have everyone share their names. And for the knitting participants, I have them say how long they've been knitting. And for the non-knitting participants, I have them say their favorite finished object that their knitting companion has made. So that was fun to hear from everybody how long they've been knitting, or how short of a time they've been knitting, and also to get to see, you know, their knits enjoyed from a different perspective with their non-knitting companion, as was applicable. So that was fun to get to know everybody. After hanging out in the lobby for a few hours, we all dispersed and we were looking forward to the next day. So now we finally arrived at Monday, October 9th, the first day of the tour. This was a really exciting and hectic day, at least for me, because I had a lot of spinning plates. I was introducing myself to Jane, our tour guide. The bus came, wanted to look at the bus, wanted to make sure everyone was awake, everything was good to go, all those things. When the bus arrived, I was really happy because I wasn't sure if we were going to have the smaller size of the coach buses or the larger size. So I was really happy to see we had the larger size, and that ended up being absolutely needed. I don't know how we would all have fit with all of our treasures on the smaller size. So I got to look at the bus, walk around. I met our driver, John, who's a wonderful man, which I would only know that more and more and more through the trip. Also, as I mentioned, I met our tour guide, Jane. Now, to be honest with you, when I met Jane, I thought that she was straight-laced, by the book, you know, everybody needs to be 10 minutes early, like, let's go. This is, I thought that was Jane. Little did I know she would go on to become my muse. my bastion of hope for my future. I want to be Jane when I grow up. Jane is amazing. She's the kindest, most hilarious, most warm woman, and I hope that she is able to join us on future tours as our tour guide. She was absolutely incredible. But yes, Monday, we met John, we met Jane, we got situated on the bus, and we made our way to Christchurch Cathedral. This is the first stop of the knitting tour, and we got a guided tour through Christchurch Cathedral, which was really interesting. This included seeing the sanctuary, seeing the belfry, which is like up those winding stairs. Basically, it's the bell tower. We learned that there are no restrictions on ringing bells in Dublin for cathedrals. I don't know if it's cathedrals in general or just Christchurch Cathedral or what, but our tour guide let us ring the bells, and we took advantage of that opportunity, and we probably were really annoying to the surrounding inhabitants of that part of Dublin. I'm so sorry, but it was really fun. I don't think I've ever done that. It was really, really fun. We went back down from the belfry, and then we went to the crypts. So that was cool. We saw a mummified cat body, a mummified rat body, a needle made out of bone. So that was cool. But yeah, the Christchurch Cathedral I thought was really interesting. I enjoyed it. It was nice to just kind of walk and listen and learn, and it was fun. So we went to Christchurch Cathedral. When we were in the crypts, which is oddly where the gift shop is, my mom showed me this really cute bag that said Ireland on it, and we thought, oh, that'd be an amazing project bag. But there wasn't time to shop, or at least I didn't want to take time to shop because I am perpetually afraid of being left behind. It doesn't make much sense that they would leave me behind on a tour that I helped organize, but you know, fear is fear, and that's how it worked. So I didn't stay behind to grab the bag, but it would stay in my memory, and I'll tell you more about the bag later. We leave Christchurch Cathedral and we make our way to Powers Court Square, or Powers Court, whatever it's called, Powers Court something, which is the building that This Is Knit lives in. It used to be a manor house for a landowner, and now it is a shopping center. So This Is Knit is this really cute local yarn store. You probably know about them already. They have a huge Instagram following, run by the Sisk family. Most notably, you might be familiar with Lisa Sisk of This Is Knit. She makes a lot of really cute and fun Instagram reels on their Instagram profile. So they're actually closed on Mondays. So the tour group got an exclusive shopping experience, which was really cool. We got a lot of goodies. I got 2 skeins of purple yarn and 10 purple buttons. So I have no idea what I'm going to make with the yarn. I got 1 skein of, I have it right here. Why don't I just show you? So these are both Irish brands. I got 1 skein of Life in the Long Grass on fine sock base, which is 75/25. And this is the colorway Dusky, a beautiful kind of dusty purple. And then I got a skein of Townhouse yarns on their lace weight, which is alpaca, silk, and merino, and yak. So there's a lot going on. And this is called Velvet. There was only 1 skein of this left, and I asked if they maybe had more, and I learned that Velvet is a discontinued colorway. So I, of course, snatched it up, and I think that this will look great held double. So I got those 2 skeins from This Is Knit, as well as 10 of these purple buttons. These are like a matte, they have a matte feel. They almost feel exactly, there's no almost about it. They feel like Mentos. So I was thinking these would be great for my Corin cardigan in Treehouse Knits in Bloom. I'm not sure if I'll use it for that or for a different cardigan, but I'm happy to have these 10 really cute, really, I don't know, sensory enriching purple buttons. So I got that from This Is Knit. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I was also thinking that when we went back to This Is Knit, maybe I would need a sweater quantity of like a rustic Irish wool. But since I had been able to feel the Kerry Woolen Mills yarn at that sweater shop, I knew I didn't need to worry about getting it at This Is Knit. So Monday, Christchurch Cathedral. Trip to This Is Knit. It was really fun to have like an exclusive shopping experience. That felt really cool and special. And then we got back on the bus and we headed to our hotel, the first hotel, official hotel of the tour. We stayed at the Royal Marine Hotel. Personally, I loved this hotel. I thought it was so cool. The lobby was extensive, lots of couches, lots of comfy chairs, and our room was amazing. It had a beautiful view of Dublin Bay, a small balcony, and we had some treats when we got to the hotel as well. There was some welcome cake and fruit for DJ and I. I don't know why, but it was really nice, and we enjoyed that. I was also really impressed with the bathroom in our room. It had a separate shower and a separate tub, which felt, I don't know, so fancy and luxurious. So I was really pleased with our setup at the Royal Marine Hotel. So once we got to the Royal Marine, our night wasn't over yet. We had our first workshop planned for that night. And you know, I shouldn't even say workshop because it's more of a talk that we had, and it was wonderful. It was with Vaughn Corrigan, who is an Irish Dublin-based writer. She's written a few different books about textiles and Irish history of textiles, and we were all given this book, Irish Erin, History, Tradition, and Fashion. So this is a book that Vaughn wrote about the history of Irish Erin and Irish textiles. So I'm excited to dig into this. There's lots of cool pictures and information about Irish Erin knitting. Some of our copies already were signed by Vaughn, by the author, which was cool. I went up to Vaughn after the talk because I wanted a personalized signage. So I have the signage that came with the book, and then I also have this personalized signage, which reads, "Hi Rachel, lovely to meet you in Dunleary, best wishes, Vaughn." And I'll never forget it. Vaughn's talk was really interesting. It was a history of Irish textiles, from the production to the reasoning behind why some parts of Ireland have different textile preferences or different cable preferences or different styles. And it was really kind of a history lesson. And it was a good reminder for me that politics and knitting are not, you can't separate them. Like, it's everywhere. So the personal is political, and that includes with textiles. So I really enjoyed Vaughn's talk. It was very informative, and Vaughn is just a wonderful person. She was really fun to learn from, very engaging, funny, and clearly knows a lot about what she's talking about. So it's always fun to learn from an expert. You just like sense, you know, their credibility and their passion for their topic. And I personally really enjoyed it. So loved that talk from Vaughn Corrigan. That was the last planned event for Monday, the first day of the tour. But after, oh no, it wasn't. After the talk with Vaughn Corrigan, we had dinner. So this was served to us in a private room. The meal had meat and vegetables. I think it was roasted chicken, potatoes, carrots, and we had this really yummy apple tart for dinner. So that was fun. There were 3 separate tables, so we got to mix and mingle, maybe with different people than we had sat on the bus with. And, you know, we're just starting to get to know each other as a tour group. So that was a nice dinner. And then after dinner, there's nothing else formally planned on the itinerary, but many of us did go down to the bar area and have a little bit of a knit night, which was fun. So we got to enjoy each other's company, swap stories, tell jokes, get to know each other more, and that was awesome. Okay, so now we're at Tuesday morning. This is the second day of the tour, Tuesday, October 10th. Wake up. Breakfast from the hotel is served from 7 on, so people can mosey down and get breakfast as suits them. So DJ and I got breakfast together every morning, and the breakfast at Royal Marine was great. Potatoes, eggs, sausage, full Irish breakfast basically, and like yogurt and granola and fresh fruit and things like that, and you can order coffee and tea. So we had breakfast, and then after that we had a workshop with Lisa Sisk. So Lisa of This Is Knit. We hadn't met her yet in our shopping trips to This Is Knit, so it was really fun to meet her. And she had another person with her. I think her name was Ashlyn. I'm so sorry if I'm remembering that incorrectly. If you know who the team member who has a name that maybe sounds like Ashlyn, but it's not Ashlyn, let me know in the comments. But Lisa and Ashlyn taught us Moebius knitting. I had never learned Moebius knitting before. It was a mind-melting situation. It's more complicated than just twisting your knitting, but you know, if I had to pick one way to describe it, that's what I would pick. This is the item that they provided a pattern for, and I should say it's not really, because I accidentally cast on double the amount of stitches. It worked out fine for me though. But basically you're making a cowl that's twisted. So if I'm going to, let me give you a visual for this. So I just put a stitch marker on this to give you a visual. So this is what Lisa did to blow our minds at the beginning of the workshop. My fingers are starting at this stitch marker, right? And I'm just going to go along the perimeter of the cowl until I get back to the spot where the stitch marker is. Okay, so now I'm back at the stitch marker, but as you can see, my fingers are on the opposite end of the cowl, the opposite edge. So that's how Moebius knitting works. It is a twisted, I'm sorry, it's not focusing. It's a twisted situation. So if I had cast on the correct number of stitches, I wouldn't have been able to wrap it twice. So it worked out just fine. But this is Moebius knitting. It's a simple garter stitch in the round project with a picot edge. And we all got to make this with yarn provided by Lisa and Ashlyn. This is Studio Donegal, which is an Irish wool. So it's really soft, really nice. I think my colorway is oatmeal maybe. I might be misremembering that though. But that's what we learned to do in the workshop. And the workshop was really fun. We had coffee, tea, water. We got to chat and knit while Lisa and Ashlyn went around the room and assisted people as needed. It was fun to learn a new technique with new people. And because once you cast this on, it's just knitting and then purling in the round. You know, you're doing garter stitch, so 1 row purl, 1 row knit, etc., until you're ready to bind off. This was a great bus knit. So many of us, myself included, this became our like travel project that we worked on while we were in the bus, moving from location to location, because you don't need to look at the pattern. You don't need to remember a stitch sequence. You just are knitting and purling until you're ready to do the picot bind off. So I didn't finish this until a few days into the tour. I think Faith finished this the night of the workshop, so that was pretty amazing. But yeah, really happy with this. This is like a souvenir make, because not only did I learn the technique in Ireland, but I made it start to finish in Ireland, so that was kind of cool. After the workshop, we had some free time for lunch, so DJ and I went with a couple people to Pita Pit. We originally wanted to go to Nando's. I'd never been to Nando's, but seems like a rite of passage, but their oven was broken, so we went across the street to Pita Pit, got our pitas, and brought them back to the hotel to eat. Then at 2 o'clock that afternoon, we had a vintage tea bus ride with our new friend Ava. She's a Tunisian crochet designer from Ireland. So we went on this double-decker bus that had been renovated to serve tea. So on each of the tables, there was this platter of sandwiches, scones, desserts, and then they took our orders for beverages. So there were cup holders in the table, because we were kind of racking our brain trying to figure out, how is this going to work? How are we supposed to drink tea? And we got to bring our cups home with us as souvenirs if we so chose. And we just kind of rode around Dublin for a couple hours, eating snacks, drinking tea. Some people were knitting. We were all chatting, enjoying our time. And that was cute and fun. So after the tea bus ride, we got back to our hotel and had another hotel dinner. This time the hotel dinner was served in the bar/restaurant area. We had our own section just for our group, and that was really good. I had Caesar salad with anchovies on it for the first time, and it was delicious. I had no problem with the anchovies. I don't know what everyone is so upset about with anchovies. The internet makes them sound disgusting, but they were just fine to me. And I forget what my main course was, but I had a great time. It was a great dinner. So after dinner, it's a night of restful sleep to get ready for day 3, Wednesday, October 11th. And let me tell you, day 3 of the tour was the highlight for many people. It was jam-packed with really, really awesome stuff. So the day started, get breakfast just like normal, and then check out of your hotel room, get on the bus, and head to Cushendale Mill. This is one of 2 working Irish mills, or old working Irish mills in Ireland, and we went to the other one later in the tour. Cushendale Woolen Mills is an incredible place. First of all, they let all of us use their bathroom, which was nice. Second of all, the tour was incredible. It was really cool to see these machines in action. Some of these machines, in fact, I think most of the machines, not necessarily the weaving machines, but like the spinning machines, the carding machines, to get the wool from raw wool to finished object. These are from the Victorian period, so they're centuries old, okay? So that was really cool to see. They're still in working order. They're used every day at Cushendale Woolen Mill, and they're, I don't know, it was just so cool to see. It was so cool. I learned a lot of things I didn't know already about the process of processing wool. For instance, ecru wool is undyed. It's the color of the sheep that they are getting out, and then if there's wool that is discolored or for whatever reason is not that pure ecru color, that is the wool that they dye. So when you're processing the wool, you separate the ecru from everything else, and then the everything else chunk is what is dyed into the variety of colors that you see on the market. So we got to see the process of weaving, of spinning. We learned about Cushendale blankets. Once they weave a blanket, it goes into this room where employees of Cushendale basically look at every, square inch of this blanket under a magnifying glass. And if there's any part of the blanket that is not perfect, they unpick those strands by hand and reweave them or reknit them or resew them for the whole blanket. And they have some big blankets there. So that attention to detail, really stuck out to me. And then we got to shop. And did we shop? Oh boy, did we shop. The treats I got, I am really excited about. So let me show you them. So the backstory for this is my Aunt Becky, who was on the tour as a knitting participant. She wanted to make a boucle lamb that she saw me share when I was so excited about the boucle from Treehouse Yarns Favorites collection. So the tea room lamb pattern uses traditional wool, like traditionally spun wool, and then boucle for the fur for the lamb. And Becky was going to use Cushendale yarn for that because they have a DK weight boucle, mohair DK weight boucle. Okay, so it's a big deal. And so my sister Ellie was also on the tour as a knitting participant. We decided it would be cute to get matching yarn to make matching lammies. Yeah, so we got this ash violet Irish wool from Cushendale. This is 100% pure wool, 200 meters for 100 grams. So basically a DK, worsted DK weight base, really pretty heathered, like violet, lilac, ashy, dusty color. So we got that for the lamb's main body. We got this mauve mohair boucle, DK weight for the lamb fuzz or lamb fluff. And then we also got this butter colorway of the Irish wool for the lamb's outfit. So pardon me, Ellie and I will have matching lamb stuffies when we get to it. Okay, who knows when that will happen, but one day we will both have matching lambs from Ireland. So that's exciting. Got those 3 skeins from Cushendale. I also got this Cushendale Lanolin Salve, or I should say Cushendale branded Lanolin Salve. This is made or produced in Kilkenny, Ireland, for Cushendale Woolen Mills. So they don't make this on site, but I never had Lanolin Salve, and I figured I probably needed it to continue living. So I got a jar of Lanolin Salve. Plus, this will be perfect for stitch markers once I use it all. So I got 3 skeins from Cushendale, a Lanolin Salve, and I also got 5 buttons. These are really cute wool colored buttons, and I got purple ones. So it's kind of hard to show you with them laying flat, but basically I have 2 of these kind of plaid looking purple and white ones, and 3 of these dark purple. And the reason I mixed it up with that is because I couldn't choose. So I got a set that works, that where I can alternate them to work for a sweater if needed. So not sure what sweater I'll use these for, but I know whatever it is, it will be stunning. So got 5 buttons from Cushendale, a salve, 3 skeins, and 2 sets of stitch markers. So these are also not made at Cushendale. These are made by Bianca Rogue Black Handmade Ceramics, and they're on a cute little safety pin. This set is like purples and blues with knitting stitches imprinted on them, and this set is like yarn balls with oranges, yellows, and grays. So one of these sets is going to be for my sister Anna, and one of these sets I'm going to keep for myself. I haven't decided which is which because I love these colors, but I love this design. So I should have thought about that when I was selecting. So I'm torn. Do I choose based on color or do I choose based on design? So I'm going to have to search my heart a little bit more for that, but I'm only keeping one of those sets and the other will go to my sister Anna. All right, so that was Cushendale Woolen Mills. Cushendale also had this great opportunity for people. You could ship home. I think it was like $35 flat rate euro, 35 euro flat rate shipping. So a lot of people did ship their purchases from Cushendale directly home with them. And some people even had their purchases beat them home. So Cushendale is definitely very fast. Family owned business, been in it for decades and decades. So if you're looking for a family owned business that has been around for a while, they know what they're doing, they're good at it, and they have quality products, check out Cushendale Woolen Mills because you can't go wrong. After our visit to Cushendale, we stopped for lunch at a really cute restaurant called Waterside Restaurant. We basically had the restaurant to ourselves. We had great food, great service, and then we moved on to go to Crampton Farm. So Crampton Farm is a family farm. Suzanne runs it now, and she has a herd of Zwartzel? Let me look up how you say it.
Zwartbles.
Zwartbles. She has a flock of Zwartbles sheep. These are really cute. The main body is brown, and they have like a white stripe down their nose and some white on their legs and a white tail. Yes. Something of that is wrong, but I don't remember what. But we got to tour her sheep farm. We saw her lambs. She waited to feed them until we got there, so we got to see them run up to the trough and eat. It was very cute. And then we saw her alpacas. They came over the crest of the hill, like, I don't know, it was really majestic. It was very, very cool experience. So we got to kind of see her animals, I don't know, hang out, eat. The alpacas kissed a lot of our heads, which was sweet, and it was a fun experience to see what a working farm looks like. We then got to go to her, one of her outbuildings where she has some of her business set up, and we got to purchase fiber.
This is wisteria. I saw it on Instagram. Blooms in the summer.
So some of us purchased skeins of yarn from the sheep. I, like some others, purchased a skein of alpaca yarn. This is from her alpaca named Kriya. It's light double knit, so DK weight, baby alpaca, 50 grams, and I think I'll make a Sophie scarf type thing. I'm going to use the free pattern, the symbol thing, because I think that's the perfect dupe for free. But I think that's what I'm going to do, just like a cute little neck scarf. It's only 50 grams. It's nothing serious, but it's very soft. And if an alpaca kisses you on the head, it's only right that you buy their yarn. So there, that's what I got at Crampton Farm. And that was really fun. So after Crampton Farm, we get back in the bus and head to our next hotel, which is the Lyrath Estate Hotel. This is a 5-star hotel. It's incredibly beautiful, and it changed many of our lives. Okay, so the Lyrath Estate Hotel, we were only there for one night, and it was certainly an unforgettable experience. I have never stayed in such a place. I've never seen such a place in person. I've only seen it in movies. It was gorgeous. We found a really beautiful room to knit in, so some of us sat in there and knit before dinner time. We got to enjoy dinner at the 5-star hotel restaurant, which was delicious. I had calamari as a starter, and then pasta as my main, and then I think sticky pudding or something as my dessert. And I also had a cocktail based on the hotel. It was called the Lyrath Ghost. How could you not have a good time? It was an amazing time. DJ got to run on the property, and it was really beautiful. We all agreed that it would have been wonderful to stay there multiple nights. I have no idea the logistics of that. I don't know if that would make the price of the tour skyrocket. I have no idea. But it's definitely something to look into, because the Lyrath Estate Hotel was incredible. There were fuchsia bushes everywhere, fall leaves everywhere, beautiful grounds, beautiful building. It was amazing. Amazing. All right, we're now nearly at an hour of content going through the Irish Knitting Tour, and we're only to day 3. So I am going to leave it here. This will have become unexpectedly and unintentionally and not according to plan, but this is now part 1 of the Irish Knitting Tour recap. I will be working on additional parts, definitely part 2. There might be a part 3. It might go into part 4. I don't know. There's a lot to recap. There's a lot of memories that were made, a lot of treasures that were purchased, and a lot of places that we visited and things we learned. So I'm excited to share the rest of the Irish Knitting Tour with you. Thank you so much for watching. In the meantime, check out my other videos, and I'll see you for part 2. Bye!